The Orange and Brown scrimmage for the Browns will be over at First Energy Stadium, downtown Cleveland. Tomorrow night it'll be the first with Freddie Kitchens in charge of the Browns as the head coach. Now there's an adjustment period for Freddie Kitchens to be the head coach. There's also an adjustment period for the players. The players are getting used to each other. There's a bunch of new players, as well as a new system under Freddie Kitchens. Kitchens is thrilled with the effort, and he's expecting the execution and also the results to come with time.
Some of it with these guys, it's just a new environment from the standpoint of what they're used to. And, we've got a bunch of guys from other places. I don't know what they do, nor do I care. And what they've done here before, I don't really care. So some of it's just a product of having a new environment and what they expect. I'm getting what I expected from a effort standpoint. But some of the consistency on how the plays that we make and things like that, we're not. And that's the situations we want to continue to put them in. So yes, I was more happy today. And mainly because right now at this point in time, I'm not worried about really the success or not success of the play. I'm worried about the understanding of us being a smart football team. That's what I was very upset with yesterday, was we've got to be a smart football team. Games were won and lost because you're not smart enough to recognize the situation and adjust to the situation and make a play accordingly, whatever that play may be.
Freddie, how do you feel about your impact?
I feel very good about it. I feel very good about all four of those guys. All four of those guys, well, all three of the backups are continuing to get better. David had some good throws today. Garrett's had a pretty good camp up to this point. And Drew, I've been with Drew for a long time. So, I think he's demonstrated that today. He knows how to run the offense and successfully. Well, I think it's very critical, but more so than that, or just as much as that, I think it's good to have a quarterback room that's very supportive, because those guys do a lot of work during the course of the week that maybe the starting quarterback can't get to or can't do. In Arizona, we had a quarterback room that was like excellent from the standpoint of I was in the quarterback room. It was Carson, our starter, and we had Drew, and Ryan Lindley was one of those guys at one point in time. Then we let him go, and then we brought another guy in. But you kind of just train those guys to do whatever they can do to support the starting quarterback. And they collectively in that room have that one goal in mind, and everybody takes ownership of the starting quarterback. Yeah, I think it's a very unique situation. They argue all the time about who's the top-rated quarterback or who is the highest-rated quarterback coming out of high school and stuff like that. Baker always pulls the trump card on him toward the end, but they've got a good relationship. It's good to see. At the core of everything that we're doing here, I think you guys know how I feel about the players and how the players will. I don't know how they feel about me, but I have a pretty good idea how they feel about me. I want them to feel that way about each other, because if we can grow that, all right, they're more likely to fight and go to war with each other, in a sense, on a Sunday, all right, and lay it out there and be accountable to each other. And that's how you win football games in this business.
Todd Monken mentioned that Callaway came in out of shape. Did you have to challenge him when he came back here and talk to him about that?
Yeah, I think everybody's been challenged up to this point. But, Tonio knows what's expected out of him. And, his best day was today. He does seem like he needed a little pushing, but he also knew what was expected out of him. So he came back, and he's worked his tail off for the last week. And I think it's showing up by, him getting in better shape.
Chad Thomas, I think, missed his second straight day with an illness. Is that anything that's going to keep him out for a while?
We don't think so. We just don't want him. He just doesn't feel good right now.
Freddie,
I don't want to elaborate because we don't really, as last time I checked, we don't really know what it is. I mean, we don't think it's anything serious or anything like that. It's just a stomach bug or something. So being very then you get into issues with dehydration and stuff like that. We're just being very cautious with that.
Get better timing in the pauses.
Yeah. And Yeah, go ahead. They're usually not this rowdy, CJ. All right.
Sometimes we see you been coaching him up. Talking today, you just upset with the angle he took, or did he just didn't finish the play right at the line of scrimmage?
When was it in the
running? It was a running period.
Okay, in the middle of practice.
Yeah.
I was, we need to wrap up. We need to wrap up, and whether we're taking them to the ground or not doesn't matter. The point of contact and the arms need to be around them. The working on the technique of tackling needs to be shown every time. That's not a sometime thing. So tackling, take them to the ground, that's kind of that will happen if you do everything else leading up to that point to get them on the ground. You just don't take them on the ground. So, I didn't like it. And it's my prerogative. I want form, I want technique. Steve and them are working their tails off trying to get that. And when I don't see it, it's getting corrected.
Yeah,
I try not to let anything slide at all.
Like the aggression, his aggression, which we're talking about a team that's trying to get better at finishing plays.
Yeah.
Tackling.
Exactly. And I do like the aggression. You can't teach aggression, all right? You can teach tackling. So that's where we sit with him. We'll teach him how to tackle. But I want him to bring his feet and bring his hands, bring his arms, all right? That's how we tackle. We don't try to knock everybody out on every. You're going to play some pretty big guys. You're not going to knock everybody out. So you better know how to tackle. And unless we get that, I'm not going to be happy. We're not going to let anything slide.